Peace and greetings to the East. The Masonic phrase of the day is not a phrase. It's actually a catch question of the first degree of Freemasonry, which is the Entered Apprentice Mason degree. It's pretty good, so I want to share it with you. Let's say you came across a guy who's professing to be a Freemason, or he's wearing the emblem of Masonry. Let's say the logo of Masonry to make it clear, the square and the compass. You could ask him, have you seen a little white dog about yay big, wearing a pretty brown collar, a choker? Now, at the point in which you would say about yay big, you would show a certain sign of the Entered Apprentice Mason degree, of the first degree. By sign, I mean a hand gesture. I can't show you what the sign is because that's part of the things that we are not allowed to reveal in Freemasonry, meaning to put them in print or record them on camera and things like that. But if you are an Entered Apprentice Mason, or you are one, or you're a Mason in general, you'll know what I'm talking about. So after you ask that question, the person will answer, I have, meaning that he's seen the little white dog that you're talking about. Then you would ask, which way did he come from? And he's supposed to answer by saying, from the west. And then you ask, which way was he going? And he's supposed to answer, towards the east. And then you ask, what name does he answer to? And he's supposed to answer by saying, caution. Now let me explain to you what that means. In the initiation ritual for the first degree of Freemasonry, the candidate, which is the person being initiated, is traditionally clothed in white garments. Some lodges dispense with that, but it's supposed to be white garments. And the word candidate itself etymologically means to be white. Not in the sense of race, but in the sense of being pure. Right? Okay. So the candidate is traditionally dressed in white. So that's what is meant by the little white dog. The pretty brown collar, a choker, is referring to what we call a cable toe, which is a rope. It's a Masonic term that means rope. So a rope is brown. Now, in certain lodges, they'll use a blue rope or a white rope, but traditionally you just use a rope, a standard rope, which is brown. So the cable toe is tied once around the candidate's neck, which makes it look like a noose. So it doesn't exactly look like a noose, but the point I'm making is it's similar to a noose. So this is why we say a pretty brown collar, a choker, referring to a noose. Anyway, so when the question is asked, which way did he come from, meaning the dog? He came from the west. So in the initiation ritual of the first degree of Masonry, you take a symbolic journey traveling from the west, which symbolizes spiritual darkness, towards the east, symbolizing spiritual enlightenment because the sun rises in the east. And during that journey, which we call circumambulation, and some lodges will say squaring the lodge, because in many lodges you move in a square formation around the lodge. When you do that, you're imitating the sun, which is to indirectly hint at you that you are the light that you are searching for. The light is within you. You are the light, but you're blind to it in the beginning. So anyway, that's what that part means. And then when we have that question asking, what name does he answer to, meaning the dog, quote unquote, when we say caution, that's because in the first degree of Masonry, The new name, quote unquote, that you're given is caution. And esoterically, that's to hint at you that you're undergoing a spiritual rebirth, so you're given a new name. I remember in the past video when I told you that we use the term mother symbolically to refer to the lodge. So in that case, you have a catch question such as, what did your mother name you when you were born? Caution. Meaning when you were born into Masonry, your spiritual rebirth, the first degree in your spiritual rebirth. So that's what all of that means. Now, please, if you're not a Mason, don't ask this question to Masons to try to test them, because that would be disrespectful. This is just to heighten your interest in Freemasonry if you're not a Mason and you're studying it, and to stimulate individuals who are already Masons. That's it. But don't use this stuff outside to try to test Masons if you're not a Mason. And I'll give you a quick story before I sign off. Many years ago, I tested a certain guy who, you know, word gets around in the town. I'm from New York City, so, you know, it's a major city. So word got around that a certain guy was supposed to be a Mason. So I crossed paths with him, and I tested him like that. Said, have you seen a little white dog about yay big, wearing a pretty brown collar, a choker? And his eyes lit up. Now, I knew from good sources he was claiming to be a Mason. He was just shocked, and he kept moving. And then I seen him shortly after that in passing, and we were cordial. But the point I'm making is that he could have been a new Mason just bragging, right? But I know he wasn't, because like I said, I crossed him. I crossed his path later on, and he wasn't. So what he was doing was pretending to be a Mason. You know, he knew a little bit of something. So it's funny stuff like that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. God bless you. God bless your family. I'll see you on the next one on the square.